In one of the train cars, some of the guests are gathered. Nick whispers to Phyllis that she must have known about this before the rest of them. Devin snarks that now they know why Kane wanted to find his lawyer. Kane has nothing to hide from anyone. Chance warns that like everything about this trip, this will be an unorthodox investigation. Amanda asks Chance on whose authority is he conducting an investigation. Kane says his skills are a huge asset, and he's trustworthy. Chance vows to get to the bottom of this. Nick gripes about not being able to get a hold of the authorities in Nice. Devin finds it odd that Kane anticipated something like this happening and invited Chance. Kane's glad he followed his gut. Chance says some staff have gone down the mountain to report the murder. Lily gawps. "You're calling this a murder?" Chance says yes. He needs to question them. Devin guesses they're all suspects. Chance has no reason to think any of them are involved. Abby points out it had to be someone at the chateau. Lily asks Kane, "Did you have this planned all along?" Amanda warns her client not to say a word. Abby snarks that they should have brought their own lawyers. Kane says Michael may be able to help them. Nick worries about the guests not in the train car, who may not know what happened. Lily points out Kane is the only one with a motive. Kane argues that Damien wasn't the intended victim. "I was." Lily snarks, "Oh my God, do you really expect us to believe that?" Kane explains that he and Damien were both drugged with bourbon from his private stash. Lily asks how Damien got it. Kane offered it to him. Lily asks, "Is that how Damien died?" Phyllis confirms she saw Damien go down with the dagger in his back. Chance wants to see the knife collection. Kane retrieves the box and opens it. One is missing. Lily gasps that Damien was drugged with Kane's alcohol and stabbed with his knife. She thinks Kane is the killer and cries about having to tell Amy and Nate. Chance wants them to go back to their cabins, and he'll come and question them. He'll start with Phyllis as the witness. Devin wants to know if the rest of them are in danger. Chance knows everyone is rattled, but based on the evidence, this seems like a calculated attack. Amanda thinks her client is very much in danger. Lily snaps at her about planning Kane's defense before Damien's body is even cold. Everyone files out, and Chance asks Phyllis, "Tell me what happened." Phyllis says she got lost in the maze, ran into Diane and Jack in there. They were all lost. She split up from the Abbotts and hasn't seen them since. Phyllis tells Chance there was something different about the maze tonight. They all had the paths figured out, but tonight it was like someone had gone in there and rearranged everything to disorient them. Phyllis tells Chance she was trying to find her way to the bar and came to the statue garden. That's when she saw Damien slumped in Kane's arms with a dagger in his back. Kane called her over and they slumped to the ground. Kane checked for Damien's pulse and told her he was dead. She wanted to perform CPR and save him. Chance learns she didn't see anyone else and then asks if she saw anything that would indicate that Kane stabbed Damien. Phyllis tells Chance that Kane was as shocked as she was to see the knife in Damien's back. Chance asks if she heard them arguing. She says no. Chance asks if Kane seemed woozy. Phyllis says no, but he mentioned the adrenaline rush. Phyllis is sure that Kane isn't guilty, and he should focus his investigation elsewhere. Chance will leave no stone unturned. He understands she's eager to work with Kane, and warns if she's covering for him. That would be aiding and abetting. Phyllis scoffs at the idea she'd cover for a killer for the sake of a job, especially a man who killed his former employee. She didn't see anything, and even if Kane did kill Damien, she wouldn't be able to testify. She can assure him that Kane didn't hide the knife and the bottle. They were together the entire time. They left Damien together. They were looking for help, and then they came to him. There is no way he could have gotten rid of that evidence. Chance is actually Kane's alibi for the time that the evidence was stolen. Nick joins Sharon in her cabin and tells her his parents aren't in their sleeping car. He has to find them. There's been a murder. Sharon gawps. What? Nick tells him Damien was stabbed in the back with a knife from Kane's collection. Sharon asks if they know who did it. Nick says Kane has sent some groundskeepers down the mountain and Chance has launched an unofficial investigation. Something has to be done whether it's legal or not. Nick tells Sharon that Kane was with Damien when it happened. Someone threw a dagger into his back. He explains they were drinking bourbon that was drugged. Apparently, he died instantly. Kane suspects someone was trying to kill him, which is why Chance was there in the first place. Phyllis was the only witness. She walked in when Damien was hit. Sharon worries about this given she's still traumatized from the clinic. Nick says Chance is questioning her, but Kane is the only one with a motive. He guesses he'll try to blame someone else. If he's right, this vacation from hell is about to take another turn and get a whole lot worse. Nick guesses Kane will try to blame his dad. He tried to buy Chancellor and he turned him down. Sharon can't buy this, but Nick is sure Kane will push his agenda. Sharon's glad Michael is there. If Kane tried to pin it on Victor, Michael would surely come to the rescue. Chance would see right through Kane's setup anyway. Nick worries about Phyllis being caught in the middle. Sharon says she's not okay. She never dealt with what Martin did to them. She's concerned about how all of this will affect her going forward. Nick worries about Sharon being caught up in another police investigation. Sharon's just glad Adam can tell the kids why they haven't been in contact. She laments Damien having his life end so horribly. Nick asks if it makes her think of Heather. Sharon feels they've been followed by a dark cloud. Nick was hoping for a vacation. Sharon nods. A fresh start. Now the trip has gone from bad to worse. Nick tells her this investigation is about to get a whole lot more disturbing. In the center of the maze, Kane pours a drink and tells Amanda they have to replace all the liquor just in case. Amanda points out they've all been drinking and not feeling any effects. Kane rambles about how suddenly Damien was gone. Amanda asks him to be honest. I need to know, did you have anything to do with this murder? Amanda's job is to anticipate what other people will suspect. Kane asks why he'd want to kill Damien. Amanda knows he was crushed about him and Lily. He asked to be alone with him, and shortly after that, he was dead. Kane points out the killer wasn't about to jump out and confess. Anyone could have taken the knife and used it to implicate him. Amanda reminds him of the drugged bourbon and asks how he expects people to interpret this. Kane tells Amanda that she's missing the major plot point. Damien wasn't the target. No one could have known he would share that bourbon with anyone. The killer just missed, that's all. Amanda doesn't think it's that cut and dried for everyone else. His guests are frustrated with his lies and games. It's a bit of a stretch, however, that anyone would want him dead. Who would try to kill him? Kane says it's not Lily. He wishes he could comfort her right now. He gets that he's the last person she wants to see. Amanda says she was with Lily, who was not in a violent state of mind. She runs down the list. Jack, Billy, the Newmans. Why would they resort to violence to keep control of a company they own outright? Kane wouldn't put anything past Victor. Amanda just can't believe it. Kane says Nick's a hothead and threatened him. All he knows for certain is that he was the target. Amanda needs to ask him about the lie he told Chance. They both know he has a way to contact the police in Nice. What are you hiding, Kane? Why aren't they opening this up to a wider police investigation? Kane doesn't want some random local detective messing up this investigation. He brought Chance to the chateau because he suspected he would be a target. Amanda argues that Chance has no authority there. Kane trusts Chance, who knows all the people there. Amanda gives him a look. Kane thinks she's looking at him like he's hiding something. Does she believe he killed Damien? In the train car, Lily cries to Abby and Devin about Damien's death. She should have made him stay with her instead of talking to Kane. Devin's playing catch-up since he didn't know she and Damien were romantically involved. Lily says it happened while they were there. She told Kane they were a couple, and that's when he asked to talk to Damien privately. She fears it's her fault for pushing Kane too hard. Abby reminds her Kane thinks he was the target, not Damien. Devin wonders if he made up the whole thing about someone targeting him to throw them off. Lily cries, "What if the father of my children is a murderer?" Devin's sorry that Lily had to see Damien's body. She worries that Amy will be devastated. Abby still can't believe Kane could murder someone. And for what? Lily can't wrap her head around any of this. Was Kane always like Colin? Or did he become like Colin over the years? Devin wonders about Kane's suspicion that someone is trying to kill him. Lily wonders if it's possible that Kane wanted Damien dead all along. Devin points out that would mean it had nothing to do with Lily, since they only started dating after they got there. Abby doesn't think Kane would kill anyone out of jealousy. She's been with other people since they split. But who would want to kill Cain? Lily says none of this makes sense. Devin feels they shouldn't absolve Damien just yet. Lily asks, "What are you saying?" Devin wonders if Cain targeted Damien for some reason they're not aware of. He points out they don't know much about their relationship before Genoa City. And they heard that Damien had a temper. They could have had a contentious relationship. Maybe he found out something that Cain didn't want exposed. Lily fumes that Damien is an innocent victim in this. Abby agrees. Devin thinks they need to keep their minds open to all possibilities. Phyllis and Chance are finishing up their interview when Nick storms in with the murder weapon in a plastic bag. He fumes. "I found this in the bathroom of my sleeping car." He grits. "Someone is setting me up." Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. On The Young and the Restless, Damien Cain seems to have met his fate. Cain said that he was the intended victim, but either way, who could be the murderer? It was supposed to be an elite, invite-only party in the French Riviera on The Young and the Restless, but instead, it's turned into a murder mystery. Cain had invited GCPD Detective Chance to his summer home, but everyone thought it was because Chance is a chancellor and a namesake in Catherine Chancellor's legacy company, the company Cain claimed to want. But Cain explained to Chance that he was invited because Cain sensed that, by the end of the week, someone would try to kill him. Cain had been talking and having a drink with Damien Cain when Damien suddenly felt dizzy. He wondered if someone had put something in the private reserve bottle of whiskey that Cain was holding. Cain, too, claimed that he was starting to feel odd and suggested they go back to the bar area for help. As Cain helped Damien to his feet, someone from behind the bushes of the maze flung a dagger with precision into Damien's back, plunging the blade into his heart. Cain was sure that he was the murderer's intended victim. Since then, the knife disappeared from Damien's body and was planted in Nick's bathroom on his train car instead. The bottle they were drinking from has also disappeared. Knowing that it has been drugged, where will it wind up? So, who did the murderer actually intend to kill? And why would they frame Nick for murder? Cain being the intended victim seems the most obvious, but also the hardest to figure out who the culprit would be. Considering we haven't seen or heard of Cain in years, we have no idea who he knows or what he's been doing. Has Cain ripped off someone? Did he really get the money from his dad, Colin, as a startup to do good and make amends? Or did he steal millions and turn it into billions? Is there someone out to get revenge on Cain? Another possibility is that Colin is still alive after all, and unreformed. Is it possible that he would kill his own son to get back the money? But then there is Damien, who is leaving The Young and the Restless with a lot of questions unanswered, including why he was even invited to the party to begin with. He was Cain's employee for years, pretending to be the owner of companies for Aristotle Dumas, a man he claimed to have never met. But he was fired, and then invited to a party for Genoa City's most elite business people. Speaking of business, before being fired, Damien and Holden had mentioned a few times that they needed to return to LA, as they had something to clean up. While they never said exactly what it was, the tone and the knowing looks they darted to one another said it wasn't good, and it was important. But they never went, and it's not been mentioned yet. Is it related? Was Damien actually the intended victim to the murder? And if so, why? Who would want him dead and Nick framed for it? Something doesn't make sense yet to this whole scenario. Is there any connection to Damien's surname being a homonym to his ex-boss and host? Is Damien the real Aristotle Dumas after all? The Young and the Restless, spoilers for July 17th, have Victor protecting his family's interests, Cain being forced to defend himself, and Lily sharing damaging information with Chance. It was one thing to be stuck at Cain's luxurious chateau without cell phone service or a way to get out. But it's quite another to be trapped there with a killer on the loose. On Thursday's show, watch for Victor to protect his family's interests. Victor's wife, Nikki, and their son, Nicholas, are in potential danger if Damien's murderer feels like striking again. What will Victor do to ensure the safety of his family and his friends? With Damien's killer still on the loose, watch for Cain to have to defend himself on Thursday's episode. Will he be fighting back against a physical threat, Or will Kane have to defend himself from evidence gathered by Chance that he points to Kane having had a hand in Damien's death? It's no secret that Kane is still in love with Lily. Ironically, Kane hired Damien not knowing that he was going to develop feelings for his ex-wife. Kane has a solid attorney in Amanda, but her specialty is corporate law and the business world. He might just need to retain the services of Michael Baldwin, who knows how to slay in criminal court, if he's going to become a suspect in Damien's death. Kane may have to worry about more than his would-be killer in the coming days. On Thursday's show, watch for Lily to share damaging information with Chance. Given that Chance is investigating Damien's death, it would make sense if Lily were to share information with the lawman about Kane's reaction to Lily and Damien's relationship. The killer may have been trying to murder Kane, and he ended up hitting an innocent target. Another possibility is that the hitman was acting on orders from Kane to take out Lily's new love. Victor moves to make sure he benefits. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Thursday, July 17th, dive into the Who Killed Damien mystery. Lily thinks she has evidence that points to Kane and that Chance should know about it. Damien is dead. We are confused about why and what was the point, but Chance is only interested in who done it. Everyone has their theories, but Lily actually thinks she has evidence, which points to Kane. Now, considering how Lily feels about Kane in general at the moment, she's ready to accuse him of anything. Being the Zodiac Killer, kidnapping the Lindbergh baby, being so vain that Carly Simon wrote a song about it. But is he really the one who stabbed Damien? We know he didn't, because we saw that he was there when the black-clad assailant aimed and threw. So what evidence could Lily possibly have? Unless, of course, Kane hired the killer and was the one responsible for delivering Damien to the time and place, not to mention drugging him so he wouldn't be able to get away. As soon as Victor heard about Damien's death, he had only one thought: how to protect his family, and how to take advantage of the subsequent turmoil. If Damien is dead and Kane is arrested, think of all the lovely money and companies newly up for grabs. Victor just knows that Jack and Billy will do something insensitive and underhanded, like try to claim them for themselves. They won't give poor Lily and her children another thought. Good thing Victor isn't like that. He'll protect Lily by instantly taking over all of Kane's properties, so Lily doesn't need to worry her pretty little head about it. Oh, and if anyone suggests anyone in the Newman family might have been involved, well, prepare for Victor to get indignant. How dare you, Chance? How dare you? Faked deaths in Genoa City go hand in hand. The Young and the Restless threw us one heck of a curveball when Damien went from gulping poison to catching a flying blade straight to the back. It was the perfect soap opera send-off. So perfect it almost feels staged. Now, before you roll your eyes, hear us out. What if Damien isn't actually dead at all? What if this death is a masterclass in deception cooked up by none other than Kane Ashby himself? Think about it. Damien claimed he didn't know Dumas, but we all know soap villains lie as easily as they breathe. And let's face it, Kane has the resources and the motive to orchestrate this whole charade. Damien could have been paid off to gulp down some fake poison, take a retractable knife to the chest, and vanish into the night with a fresh passport and millions in his pocket. If Damien really is alive and hiding in some tropical paradise sipping piña coladas, what's Kane's endgame? 2 words: ultimate revenge. He gets Damien out of the picture, clears the way to swoop back into Lily's life, and frames one of his enemies in one fell swoop. Kane has always been the type to play chess while everyone else is stuck on checkers, and this kind of intricate scheme is right up his alley. Plus, Kane has the cash to make it happen. Pay off Damien? Easy. Bribe the paramedics? Done. Corrupt the coroner? Child's play. For the right price, you can buy almost anything in Genoa City and beyond, so why not a fake death? And let's not forget, a faked death isn't exactly rare in this town. The great Victor Newman has done it, Adam has done it, heck, even Diane Jenkins clawed her way out of the grave. Why not Damien too? So, is Damien 6 feet under or living it up on a beach somewhere? If this is a setup, the fallout is going to be explosive. Whoever Kane's trying to frame better watch their back, because when the truth drops, it'll rock Genoa City to its core. Ever since the news broke that Billy Flynn was leaving Days of Our Lives for The Young and the Restless, We've had a lot of fun speculating about whom he'd be playing, about with whom he'd be paired, about his potential impact on Genoa City, etc., and so forth. Now we know that the actor is Aristotle Dumas Kane Ashby. The character has his heart set on reuniting with former wife Lily Winters, and his goal is to basically own Genoa City. But we're still mystified, and not by the identity of Damian Kane's killer. The more Kane explains, the less we understand about the version of him that has returned to the canvas 6 years after the role was vacated by Daniel Goddard. Foremost among our questions are these. Kane swore that, off-screen, he reconciled with estranged father Colin Atkinson, and they set about amassing a vast fortune in what we've been told are legitimate ways. But, really? In 6 years, Kane managed to put together an empire to rival the great and powerful Victor Newman's, and without resorting to the kind of underhanded dealings that were Colin's stock and trade? Color us skeptical. Also, if there was no shadiness to the manner in which Kane went from rags to riches, who would want to kill him? And why? If he's Mr. Nice Guy businessman about town, he doesn't exactly have a target on his back. Unless, that is, former associates of Colin's still have old scores to settle and are out to murder Kane as payback. But even if Colin owed them money, wouldn't his cronies want the cold, hard cash, not Kane's cold, dead body? We live in the digital age. There's virtually no one whose picture is not on the internet. And wouldn't at least some of the bigwigs with whom Kane did business have insisted on an in-person meeting, recognized him from his days as a bartender-turned-CEO in Genoa City, and blabbed to Victor or Jack Abbott or somebody that Aristotle Dumas sent the mystery man that he pretended to be? Furthermore, Kane told ill-fated Damian Kane that, now that the mask had been dropped, he had to go back and pull down all of the walls that he'd built to hide his true identity. So, what? Did he legally change his name to Aristotle Dumas? Are we supposed to believe that his kids never noticed that suddenly their old man's credit card had a different guy's name on it? Originally, Kane was Australian like Goddard and had an accent to match. Since the character's comeback, there's been no mention of the fact that he seems altogether unlikely to start a conversation with, "G'day, mate," anymore. On the plus side, we suppose that explains why Billy Abbott didn't recognize Kane's voice. When Kane was introduced in 2007, he posed as Philip Chancellor III, aka Chance Chancellor's father. Looking at Flynn next to Connor Floyd, who now plays Chance, we're not sure anybody in the hemisphere would believe that. Plus, whatever happened to the age difference that was once an issue for Kane and Lily? Kane has told all of his guests that there is simply no way to contact the outside world. What we think is that they have no way to contact the outside world. Kane, of course, does. So we can't fathom why he snuck away to Genoa City for an in-person meeting with Holden Novak when it would have been so much stealthier to simply call the guy. In a similar vein, are we right that Adam Newman climbed a mountain to reach the train cars, then climbed back down and went home? And no one thought, the hell with this, I'm going with him. Wouldn't at least Sharon and Nick have split, if only to check in on their loved ones and let them know what was going on? Kane's goal is the ownership of Genoa City and all of its many corporations. Yet he's only made an offer to take over Chancellor. A rejected offer, not surprisingly. Supposedly, he's making his moves while he has all of Genoa City's power players trapped on the mountain. But what on earth could those moves be? It's not like he could buy Jabot or Newman or, frankly, anything without Victor and Coney being informed. Kane isn't magic, is he? Also, sales like that wouldn't happen overnight, or over the course of a week. It would take weeks, months. So how long does Kane plan to keep everyone stuck in France? Does he think no one is running Genoa City's companies in the tycoon's absence? 'Cause we'd be willing to bet that, even if we've never met them, all those big bosses have medium and small bosses working underneath them. These are but a few of our ongoing questions about Kane and his storyline. Drop yours, and any answers you might have, in the comments below. On your way, ponder who will be the next victim of the murderer on the loose in the new photo gallery below. Could this be the reason why Holden is partnering with Kane? Holden and Kane's partnership is arousing suspicions. With Kane's plot to take down many of Genoa City's businesses, he needs a right-hand man. Holden seems more than willing to help Kane, but the Young and the Restless fans are wondering what's his motive. Holden is definitely a man of mystery. From the moment he arrived in Genoa City, he's raised suspicions. First, he pretended to be Damien as per his friend's orders. Then later, it's revealed Holden has a past with Audra. While some clues have been given about Holden's past, viewers still don't know the full story. His secret partnership with Kane is attracting considerable attention, and many people wonder why they're working together. On Reddit, a fan theory speculates that the two men could be family. "I think he may turn out to be Kane's brother," declared one user. Another commenter agreed. "I'd said that to my mother not too long ago. Colin was his father too, and Kane is aware but not Holden. I'd hate for it to be like Nate and Damien though. That would be too much of the same thing." Holden and Kane being brothers is not out of the realm of possibility. Colin was a con artist, so he could have seduced Holden's mother, then left her brokenhearted and pregnant. Then, on his deathbed, a remorseful Colin might have told Kane about Holden. With this information, Kane could have tracked down his long-lost brother. But whether Holden knows the truth remains to be seen. If Kane and Holden are related, it'll be a huge twist. The fallout from the revelation would be epic now that Genoa City's elite has not one, but two Ashby brothers to deal with. The Young and the Restless spoilers tease that Adam Newman will find out one of Kane Ashby's lies. Chelsea Lawson and Adam research Kane's business dealings and discover Colin Atkinson is not dead. Adam suspected Kane lied about his father's death. He asked Chelsea if she thought it was possible that Kane lied about Colin dying. It turns out his hunch was right. Chelsea uncovers the truth and plots for a way to use the information to save Newman Enterprises and Chancellor Industries. Chelsea felt sure that Kane was lying about Colin's death. She asked Adam if anyone else verified Colin's death. Adam confirmed the information came from Kane. That's when the duo did a deep dive and uncovered the truth. When they discover the truth, they are blown away. They cannot understand why Kane would lie about his father's death. They have to assume it is part of the con, and there must be a reason why he lied. It has to tie into their endgame. The Young and the Restless spoilers state that Adam needs to tell Victor about Colin. However, with them in France, without any way to communicate, it makes filling him in much more difficult. Adam has another reason for going into a deep dive into Kane's connection to Colin. He wants to use the information to publish on Newman Media. He believes this scoop would be good for the publication. Chelsea warns him against using it and publishing the information until he speaks with father. She thinks Victor would be upset to read the news on the internet. She knows they need to speak to Victor first. Thankfully, Adam agreed with her. He plans to draft up the article and wait for Victor's approval. Y&R spoilers state that it might take a bit to reach Victor, with everything going on at the chateau. In the meantime, Chelsea and Adam agreed to keep researching Kane's companies and the people he works with. They believe that Colin being alive is just the tip of the iceberg. They are sure he is lying about much more. Now they just need to prove it. The Young and the Restless spoilers say that more information will come out about Kane and Colin in the weeks ahead. Stay tuned to find out more. Before she became a soap star, Courtney Hope started out as a model. The Young and the Restless actress, Courtney Hope, has had a unique journey on the road to soap opera stardom. Before getting the acting bug, she worked as a model. Now, she's sharing some photos of her early modeling days. Long before she became a soap star, Hope worked as a child model. The actress reflected on her modeling days during a recent Instagram story. Hope posted pictures from some of her previous modeling gigs. Even at a young age, Hope commanded the camera with her smile and serious looks. After a few throwback photos, the actress popped on to explain the reason for sharing the pictures. "So I wanted to apologize for the infiltration of young Courtney photos and videos if anyone was uninterested. I needed them for a new project, and they were cracking me up because I am so dramatic. I'm serving so hard," she laughed. Anyway, it's just so funny when you look back at old photos and videos of yourself, and I'm like, am I 10? Because I was just so serious. Anyway, guess it worked out for me. Her stroll down memory lane continued with a photo of a young Hope and her brother on the set of Walker, Texas Ranger. The actress was just 12 years old when she guest starred on the CBS series Hope even got an autograph from the show's star, Chuck Norris. Hope soon caught the acting bug and landed gigs on shows such as Grey's Anatomy and Criminal Minds. But her career took off in 2017 when she was cast as Sally on The Bold and the Beautiful. In 2020, Hope and her character crossed over to Y&R, which has become their permanent home.